There's a moment most people never question. It happens right after you decide to change something. Not when you fail, not when you quit, right before anything begins. You sit down, you think it through, you organize, you adjust the plan, and something inside you relaxes, like progress just happened, but nothing moved. That moment right there, that's exactly where smart, hard-working people get completely stuck. Not because they're lazy, not because they lack discipline, not because they don't care enough, but because their brain quietly learned how to replace real movement with something that feels identical to it. And here's what makes this so dangerous. The longer you stay in that state, the harder it becomes to leave it, because it stops feeling like a problem. It starts feeling like how you operate, like your process, like who you are. You think you're building something, but you're just circling it. And the reason this is almost impossible to catch, from the inside, it looks like you're doing everything right. And if that's been your reality for a while, there's a high chance you've been stuck longer than you think. That's what this video is about. Not motivation, not discipline, not another system. It's about a specific trap that lives inside intelligent minds. And why the smarter you are, the harder it is to see it. You're not stuck. You're spinning. There's a difference, and it matters more than anything else you'll hear today. Stuck implies stillness, implies you stopped, implies something broke, and you can see exactly where. But that's not what's happening to you. What's happening is quieter, more sophisticated, almost invisible. You're moving, constantly. Your mind is working, processing, connecting ideas, refining angles, solving problems that don't exist yet. You feel the momentum. You feel the energy of someone who's about to do something remarkable. Except, you've felt that before, last month, last year, maybe every Monday morning for the past 3 years. And here's the part that nobody talks about. The part that makes this trap so ruthless. Every single time around the loop feels like the first time. The excitement is real. The clarity feels new. The plan looks better than it ever did. So you trust it. You invest in it. You protect it. And then something subtle happens. You start improving the plan instead of executing it. You find one more angle to consider, one more variable to account for, one more version that's slightly closer to perfect. It feels responsible. It feels intelligent. It isn't progress. It's the loop. Because here's what nobody tells you about cycles. They don't feel like circles from the inside. They feel like forward motion. They feel like you're covering new ground when you're actually just returning to the same point, with better explanations. You're not improving your life. You're improving the story you tell about it. And the loop rewards you for that, generously, immediately, without requiring a single thing to actually change. That reward, that's not motivation. That's the mechanism that keeps you exactly where you are, and it runs deeper than you think. Your brain is lying to you, not maliciously, not dramatically, just quietly, consistently, in a way that's almost elegant in how perfectly it works against you. Here's what's actually happening underneath every plan you build, every idea you develop, every strategy you refine and never execute. Your brain is releasing dopamine. Not when you finish something, not when you ship it, launch it, or show it to the world. Before any of that. The moment you think about doing something meaningful, the moment you visualize the outcome, sketch the idea, structure the approach, your brain processes that simulation as if it already happened. The reward fires early, the satisfaction arrives up front, and then something devastating follows. The urgency disappears, not because you gave up, not because you lost interest, but because some deep, ancient part of your brain quietly registered. We already got what we came for. You already felt the reward before doing the work. This is not a motivational problem. This is not a character flaw. This is neuroscience operating exactly as designed, just in completely the wrong direction. And intelligent people are the most vulnerable to this, because the more vividly you can imagine a future, the more completely your brain experiences it as real. The richer your mental simulation, the more convincing the illusion of progress becomes. So you think more, plan more, visualize more, and every cycle of thinking delivers another quiet hit of satisfaction that tells you, you're on track. Keep going. This is working, but nothing is working. Nothing is moving. The plan lives in your head, perfectly intact, completely untouched by reality. And reality keeps going without you. Not because you didn't want it badly enough, because you felt it so completely. You forgot to build it. Nobody warned you about this part. Every system, every mentor, every book you've ever consumed told you the same thing. Think deeper, analyze harder, understand more. That your ability to see complexity was your greatest advantage. And it is. Until it isn't. Because there's a threshold, invisible, unmarked, with no alarm, where your greatest strength quietly becomes the very thing holding you in place. Here's exactly how it happens. An average thinker looks at a problem and sees two paths, maybe three. They pick one, they move, they learn from friction. Simple, imperfect, effective. You look at the same problem and see 12 paths, each with its own variables, its own risks, its own downstream consequences that branch into 15 more possibilities. You see what others miss. You catch the angles they'd never consider, and you can't unsee any of it, so you don't choose. Not because you're afraid, but because choosing feels irresponsible when you can clearly see what everyone else is missing. Less intelligent people act faster because they see less. That line isn't an insult to anyone. It's a quiet, uncomfortable truth about how perception creates paralysis. The more clearly you see the full map, the harder it becomes to take a single step without feeling like you're abandoning every other direction. And your brain, brilliant, tireless, relentless, and keeps generating new options, new angles, new reasons why this version isn't quite ready yet. You're not stuck because you lack direction. You're drowning in it. Every path looks valid. Every option carries weight. Every decision feels like a permanent door closing on something you might need later. So you stay at the intersection, mapping, analyzing, preparing, waiting for the moment when one path finally feels certain enough to commit to. That moment never comes. And there's a reason for that, a reason that goes much deeper than strategy. This is the part nobody wants to say out loud. Not in productivity videos, not in self-help books, not in the conversations you have with people who think they know what's stopping you, because it sounds too raw, too honest, too close. But here it is anyway. You're not afraid of failing. You're afraid of finding out. There's a crucial difference between those two things, and once you feel it, you can't unfeel it. Failure implies you tried. Failure implies you stepped into the arena, gave it everything, and it didn't work. Failure is survivable. Painful, yes. Humbling, absolutely. But survivable. People recover from failure every single day. What you're actually protecting yourself from is something far more terrifying. The verdict. Because as long as your idea lives inside your head, perfectly constructed, fully protected, untouched by reality, it remains something beautiful. Something with infinite potential. Something that could work, might work, would work, if you ever decided to move. The moment you act, that changes. The moment you put it into the world, reality gets a vote. And reality is not gentle. Reality doesn't care how elegant your thinking was. Reality doesn't reward the quality of your preparation. Reality only responds to what you actually do. So action becomes something heavier than a task. Action becomes exposure. It transforms your idea from a private possibility into a public reality, measurable, visible, and suddenly capable of being judged, not just by others, by you. And deep underneath all the planning, all the refining, all the perfectly reasonable reasons why it's not quite time yet, there's a version of you that already knows this, that knows the loop isn't about strategy at all. It's about keeping something sacred just a little while longer, safe inside your mind, where it can't fail, where you can't fail. Here's what makes this trap genuinely different from every other form of self-sabotage. It's dressed in discipline. The person who avoids their goals by watching television knows they're avoiding. Some part of them feels the guilt, registers the distance, senses the gap between where they are and where they want to be. You don't get that signal because you're not watching television. You're working, you're researching, outlining, optimizing, building frameworks, consuming information that's directly relevant to your goals. Everything around you looks like someone who is serious, someone who is committed, someone who is clearly, visibly, undeniably in motion, and that's exactly what makes it so ruthless. You can't sabotage what doesn't look like sabotage. The escape is perfectly disguised as the pursuit. The avoidance wears the exact costume of ambition, and because it looks right, to you, to everyone watching, nobody questions it. Not your friends, not your peers, not even you. You call it preparation. You call it due diligence. You call it being thorough, being strategic, being smart enough to not rush into something before you're ready. But here's the question that cuts through all of that. Ready for what, exactly? Because ready never fully arrives. There is always one more thing to learn, one more variable to consider, one more version that's fractionally closer to perfect. And your intelligent mind, creative, resourceful, endlessly capable, will keep finding those things, indefinitely, not because they're necessary, because finding them feels safer than the alternative. Planning became your escape from reality dressed up as your path toward it. And the most unsettling part? It works. It keeps you comfortable. It keeps you busy. It keeps you feeling like someone who's about to do something great, while quietly, invisibly, patiently, it keeps you exactly where you started. Let's stop for a moment. Not to motivate you, not to push you, not to deliver another reframe that makes you feel temporarily better about where you are, just to look at something honestly. While you've been inside the loop, refining, analyzing, preparing, circling, time didn't pause. It never does. It kept moving with the same indifference it always has, whether you were ready or not. And what stayed exactly where it was? You. Same apartment, same routine, same version of yourself sitting with the same ideas you had 18 months ago, just with better explanations for why they're not out in the world yet. Think about that for a moment. Not with guilt, with clarity, because this is the cost that never shows up in any productivity conversation, the one nobody wants to calculate out loud. It's not the failure you can point to. It's not the mistake you can learn from. It's something quieter and far more permanent. It's the life that kept happening while you were getting ready to live it. Weeks passed, then months, then years. Not in dramatic collapse, but in the slow, invisible accumulation of days that felt productive, but produced nothing that moved you forward. Days that felt like preparation for something that never actually launched. And here's the line that needs to land. You're not wasting time doing nothing. You're wasting it thinking you're doing something. That distinction matters enormously, because nothing feels like nothing. But this feels like everything. This feels like work. This feels like progress. This feels like you're almost there. And that feeling is precisely what makes the cost invisible until one day it isn't. Until one day you look up from the plan and realize the distance between where you are and where you intended to be was built entirely out of moments exactly like this one. Most people never get here, not because they're not intelligent enough, not because they don't care deeply enough, not because the information wasn't available to them somewhere along the way, but because the cognitive loop trap has one final, brilliant defense mechanism. It feels too intelligent to be wrong. That's the last wall, the most elegant part of the entire trap, because everything inside the loop, the analysis, the planning, the careful consideration of every variable, it all feels like high-level thinking. It feels like the kind of rigorous, sophisticated process that separates serious people from impulsive ones. So when something challenges it, your mind doesn't receive it as a warning. It receives it as an attack on your intelligence. And intelligent people defend their thinking ferociously, which means the loop doesn't just trap you, it guards itself. It wraps itself in the identity of someone who is thoughtful, strategic, deliberate, and then makes questioning it feel like the irrational move. This is why awareness is everything. Not motivation, not a better system, not a new framework or a tighter schedule. Just the raw, uncomfortable, quietly devastating recognition that what felt like your process was actually your prison. And that recognition, when it finally arrives, doesn't feel like an explosion. It feels like stillness, like something that was always slightly off suddenly coming into focus. Like hearing a sound you couldn't identify for years and finally understanding what it was. You see the loop, not abstractly, not theoretically. You feel the exact shape of it in your own life, the specific patterns, the familiar returns, the moments you mistook for progress that were really just another rotation. And for the first time, you're standing outside it, watching it, which means, for the first time, you have a choice. Everything you've been waiting for is on the other side of something you keep postponing, not on the other side of a better plan, not on the other side of more information, more certainty, more preparation, not when the timing finally aligns or the conditions finally feel right, on the other side of movement, imperfect, uncomfortable, exposed movement. And here's the truth that the loop never wanted you to reach, the one it spent every chapter of your story carefully protecting you from. Clarity doesn't come before action. It comes from it. This inverts everything you were taught, everything your intelligent mind instinctively believes about how progress should work. You were built to understand before you move, to map before you walk, to know before you commit. But the real world doesn't operate on that sequence. The real world gives you clarity as a reward for moving, not as a prerequisite for it. Every step you take generates information that no amount of thinking could have produced. Every imperfect attempt reveals something that perfect planning permanently conceals. You don't think your way out of the loop. You move your way out, not with a massive, irreversible leap, not with reckless abandon or forced urgency that collapses the moment resistance appears, but with one small, real, concrete action that bypasses the planning mechanism entirely, something so specific, so immediate, so undeniably actual that the loop has nothing to reward, because the loop feeds on simulation. Starve it with reality. This is not about discipline, it never was. Discipline is what you need to sustain something. This is about starting, about breaking the first rotation so the next one never forms. You've spent enough time inside the most sophisticated trap your own mind ever built. You've seen it now. You know exactly what it is, which means the only thing left is the one thing that was always missing. So here's what you're going to do. For the next 7 days, you're not allowed to improve the plan. Only execute, even if it's wrong, even if it's messy, even if every instinct inside you screams that it needs one more adjustment before it's ready. Move anyway, because the cognitive loop trap doesn't survive contact with reality. It only survives inside the space between intention and action, that comfortable, familiar, dangerously rewarding space where intelligent people spend entire lifetimes. You've lived there long enough. You saw the loop today. You felt the exact shape of it. And that awareness, that precise, uncomfortable recognition, is something you can't return from. You can't unsee what you finally see. So the question isn't whether you're capable. You always were. The question is whether today becomes another rotation, or the day the loop finally breaks. If this hit you somewhere real, drop it in the comments. Not to perform, just to mark the moment. And if you recognize someone caught in this same trap, send them this video. They probably won't ask for help, but they need it. Subscribe if you want more of this. No motivation, no hype, just truth, delivered sharp.